Demon Eraser's live broadcast.
Okay, I'm trying to see. I don't
Wait,
see yet.
let's see if it's there.
Okay, yeah, we're live.
Oh, we're live. Sweet. Okay. Hello and welcome to the Demon Eraser's live broadcast, brought to you again by no one because we still don't have a sponsor. But if you feel like so inclined to sponsor this, feel free to. Shoot me an email or something.
You're not on the speaker full screen yet.
Oh, I'm not on speaker full screen? Oh,
No.
shoot.
Mm.
Layout, speaker, full screen. Wait, did I do that right? Speaker full screen. It says I'm on speaker full screen now, but is that it?
Let me see.
I think that's it. I think we're good. Welcome, guys, to the live broadcast. There, I can see it.
Okay.
I think we're good.
Now you're on the speaker split. Now you are. Now you got it.
Okay, we're good. We're good now.
We're good.
Okay. Sweet. Welcome, everybody. Sorry for the always seemingly subtle technical issues, but we're looking good today. And today we are going to talk about some very interesting stuff. We'll just wait for some people to jump in, join the chat. Should I post on my story or something?
Yeah,
on my
so
Instagram?
Brian likes to do this the sneak attack live streams. He's trying to really make sure that
no one knows.
Only the diehards are going to watch.
That's what I try to do. I try to find the people that are really dedicated,
who are just on YouTube, just waiting for you to come on. I wonder if he's going live today.
Okay, I'm gonna put it on.
Different day, different time.
I'm gonna put it on a live Instagram post. Maybe people will jump in. We'll see. Okay, cool. Live post link. I'm just letting people pile in before we get started because today is going to be a very interesting subject today. And there we go. Posted. Should I tag you, JT? No.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Well, I already posted it. Whatever. Okay. So today we are going to be talking about. Oh, thanks for the donation already. Wow. Thank you, Ben Foil Hat. Awesome, bro. All right, let's do this. Okay. I feel unprepared today for some reason, but I'm not. I'm very prepared. At least I think I am. Always semi-prepared.
And I'm just here. So
hey, this is
I'll fill in the gaps where you need me to.
Deal. This is me, trying to convince again. Watch me try to convince JT of crazy Nephilim theories that I have.
I'm open to most things. I just need a certain amount of evidence.
Yeah, exactly. Today is going to be a very interesting one. Is it sharing my screen yet? There it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Today, guys, we are going to be talking about some ancient Chinese, ancient Japanese spelling. All right. So this is and the stories of the Nephilim connected to ancient Chinese and ancient Japanese. Okay. Next episode, I'm going to be talking about just ancient Chinese in the Bible and all kinds of crazy, interesting stuff. But today, we're going to stick with the stories of the Nephilim in connection to ancient Chinese and ancient Japanese. So I have to tell you that the stories of the Nephilim are in every culture, all over the world, everywhere. But the stories in ancient Chinese is very, very significant. And there's a reason why it's significant, because the writing of Chinese language it's like the earliest kept writing system. It goes back like 4,000 something, 500 years or something. It literally dates back to the day that Noah stepped off the ark. Like, I'm not even kidding. Did you know that? The ancient Chinese literally stems from the time of when Noah stepped off the ark. In fact, it talks about Noah's Ark even in their words, some of their words, but we'll get to that.
That's interesting. Well, I mean, that would make sense because should be the timeline, the current timeline that anyone would have. aside from whatever happened after Jesus came back.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's a very significant thing. Thank you, moderators. By the way, Susie, you're awesome. And I don't know where my other moderator is, but she pops in there sometimes.
Wendy's in here.
She's in there.
She's
sweet.
She's holding it down.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. You're awesome. Okay. So but basically, this is very significant, and this is a very significant component. But the ancient Chinese, and some of it is Japanese, it's tethered. It's all conjugated words. They derive some symbols, and these symbols all relate to the stories of the Nephilim. And if you know the Nephilim, I'm going to tell you right now, guys, I can read like 20% of Chinese simply because I know the Bible, which is crazy. I know Japanese, Chinese, Kanji form text because I know the stories of the Bible. I can read ancient Chinese, and I can talk to somebody that speaks Chinese and writes Chinese, bro. And I just tell them like, oh yeah, your word is this and this and this. I'm like, it's from this. And I've literally converted people to Christianity, Chinese people instantly, just by explaining to them where their origins of their words are and giving them the context of understanding their language, their own language, because they don't understand the terms used in their language. It doesn't make sense to them. But if you know the stories of the Nephilim and you know the stories of the Bible, you can read Chinese in a lot of ways. There's parts of Chinese that you'll just be like, oh, that word, it's clearly related to this, and that's related to the story of Jacob and Esau. So that word probably has something to do with jealousy. And you can guess what the words are. Sometimes you can literally just look at the word and be like, oh, that looks like it's related to this term. It's probably something to do with jealousy. Did my screen?
Have you ever compared those characters to ancient Hebrew?
It 100%. It is connected to ancient Hebrew. It is very much connected to ancient Hebrew, and it is bro, I don't know. That's next episode. Next episode, okay, we're gonna talk about that.
I just saw a video this morning about that, and it was, I don't know, some movie clip, and they were talking about the numerical values, and you could, in ancient Hebrew, and it correlates perfectly to what the words' meanings are.
Yes, I was gonna do that first, but maybe I should have probably done an episode on that first before we're talking about this, because we're gonna get real nerdy today. Okay, today we're getting real nerdy. All right, but it's still. Hang on, if you're got questions about stuff, the next episode we're going to answer even more questions of its connection to Asia and China and all this stuff. And now the really important question is, why does, the reason why I didn't do the next episode first that we're going to talk about that is because it kind of tethers into the season, the short season.
Okay, cool.
And that's the reason why I'm not doing that episode first, because you got to ask yourself, why does this language all reflect stories of the Bible? And it really kind of gives you a perspective that Christianity actually went all over the world, and in a way that is more intense than people even realize, to the point where it influenced the entire language all over the world, in every culture, everywhere. Thank you, Pamela. You're awesome. Okay. So let's start, guys. First, we got to start with this word. Okay. This is the word people in Japanese. It's pronounced jin, as in Gentile. Okay. Jin. That's how you say people. This is the word heaven. It's pronounced 10, like the number 10. And this is the word giant. Now, when you look at these three words together, what do you think that means? JT, what do you think that looks like to you?
I think that obviously it's some combination of both of them to create some version of people in heaven to create a giant.
Where do we get that story from?
I think that would be Genesis 6.
It sure would be, wouldn't it? That is their word, literally. People, the children of men mated with the children of heaven, and it bore giants. How is that not the most clear Nephilimized text? You can see it right there. It's so clear. And then it's pronounced jin. It's even more fascinating, because the Japanese people were Gentile as well, but they were actually It's actually the next episode. We're going to get into that more detail, but they were actually dwarfs. They were gnomes. And in fact, the ancient word for what Japanese people called themselves is actually the word dwarf. And they changed it more recently because it was, and it's now considered an insult, but it means dwarf. But sub note, we'll get into that later. We got, oh man, if we should have talked about St. Patrick's dwarfs and all that stuff, but it's all right.
Ooh, I got a lit video for the St. Patrick's Day. I gotta repost that my St. Patty's Day video.
We're gonna do one on we're gonna go into the Japanese stuff, but then next we'll go into dwarfs. So our dwarf videos may be a little bit late on here though, but
I was kicking myself for not doing that on the last JT's mixtape, knowing that I think is Monday St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah, I think so, something like that.
It's close, I think. Yes, it is. I'm like, dang it.
Okay, now check this out. So this is the word lose, which is basically heaven, but something falling from heaven. Okay, now this is the word dog. Notice it's the same word as giant, only you've got a little nose added to the top right. You see that?
Mm-hmm.
And this is the conjugated version of dog. It's the same symbol. They just kick one of the legs over to the side. Does that make sense? So it's like, and then the word in the line here is bent sideways. Does that make? Can you tell that it's like bent, like a U, like a C, a letter C is kind of curved backwards.
I can kind of see that, but does it make sense to me? I don't know about that.
Well, this is so. But you have to understand this concept because they use this word in a lot of other words in Japanese. Okay, thank you, Trish Clark. You're amazing. Help deliver. He's doing amazing. Awesome. That's so good to hear. Yes. Awesome. Okay. So this is the conjugated version of dog. Now, why is the word giant or giant tile, right? So why is the word giant the same word as the word for dog? Only it has a little nose. Don't they call the giant tiles or the gin tiles, they called them dogs, right?
Yes. The some people still do.
Yeah. Some people still do. You're right.
Some people still do. You guys might know who.
Yeah. Some people still call them dogs, but it's fascinating because the word Gentile is also called dog, but it's the same word in Japanese or ancient Chinese. Okay. This is the word for fire. This is like, it's similar to the word dog, only the arms are broken off. This is the word for legs. Okay. And this is the word for mouth. So legs, mouth, and then mouth also looks like sun, but with an extra line, and eyes has got 2 lines, and self is 2 lines, but a little dash on top, and then field or garden. Here, I'll just write garden so that you know what we're talking about here, because you're going to see this symbol in a lot of Japanese stuff, okay? I'm giving you the basis of Japanese and ancient Chinese, so that way you understand. So legs look like this, and they get squished sometimes, guys. They get squished or stretched in some of their symbols, but just understand these basic symbols so that way you recognize the one. Okay, so we've got mouth, legs. Mouth is very much used in a lot of things. Field, tree. This is rice. It looks like tree, but it's got little things shooting out of it. Light kind of looks like rice, but the bottom half is legs. Okay, so it's like the top half, which is light, which is like rice, and then legs. But anyways, here's the word moon, which looks like the word sun, but with legs attached to it. See the little legs symbol? See how it has those 2 little symbols? So it's like the moon. It's like this. It's similar to the sun, but it's running away. Okay, now this is how we're going to talk about ancient Hebrew as pictographic. Okay, and so this is the word Eden. So this is sort of a word for humanity. It's actually a surname, so it's not really humanity, but it is kind of the word for humanity. The top word above that is the word. So if you see this little symbol on top, it looks like a little cross with a line. That's the word for soil. And then that's the word for mouth. And then this is the word conjugated for legs. So it's like soil, mouth, legs is the word for, it's a surname for the word humanity in a sense. So it's interesting because you don't technically see it very kind. Okay, now here's where it gets kind of interesting even more. So page, this is the word for page, which is basically like multiple mouths plus a line on top plus little running things. I don't know. And this is the word for kind. It's actually humankind. Well, this is the word for kind, and then this is the word for humankind. So this is, and it's got the word page plus the word rice plus the word giant. So giant, rice, page is the word for kind. Kind of weird. Now this one is person, giant, rice, page, and it's called Jin Ryu or Jin Ruri. Jin Ruri is humankind. Now this sounds, it gets a little bit weird again. So it's actually the word, and this is giant or dog, and it depends on what language or how old this writing is. But the word, you guys got to follow me. Sorry, this is like, I have to like, before I can really keep going, I got to like teach you some bases. But their word for humankind literally means person, rice, giant, page. Okay, or dog, page. Okay, so it's not saying, like, we think of the word humankind as in like we are humankind, but they think of the word humankind as what kind of human are you? Like there is different kinds of human, and that's why they've got the word Gentile mixed in with person. So Gentile, person, meaning rice means like many, it means like little things, a lot of different kernels, there's lots of different variances, and page means like understanding. And so, and giant, and that word giant means Gentile. So it's literally saying what type, humankind is literally in their words saying what type of many different components of human are you? That's what that means. Not humankind like we say it. What kind of human are you? That's where they got the word dog or giant added into that. A little bit strange, very interesting. So this is the word gate, and when you take one of those words, one of the left gate only, and you add the word giant below it and a line on top, this is where we get the word so like redo, or this one with the word, this is the word giant, but originally it was the word dog, again, Gentile. And so the word dog at the bottom is originally means to go back, to revert, to return. So, and that's their word for this. Now, their word for tears is the same word, but it's got the word giant with the word gate and the word heart on the left. This 3 dashes means heart. So this literally means like tears. So like crying or sadness or whatever. And that's tethered to like the giants wishing they could go back to before they messed up things. That's literally what this word means. Okay, let's go into a little bit more. This is a weird one. Okay, so now I'm going to explain some crazy ones. Here's where we're going to get into the story of Adam and Eve. Okay, we'll skip this one. Yeah, we'll start here. Okay, so this is the word from. This is the word self. This is the word legs, and this is the word tree. Remember those symbols. Okay, so the word dodge or hide is literally self plus legs, which means to run in a sense, self plus legs, from tree. That's the word dodge or hide. Isn't that fascinating?
That is.
So run or dodge from tree. That's from tree. Not like to tree or behind tree. It means self legs means run from tree. So why would that be the word hide?
Does that have something to do with after Adam and Eve ate the forbidden fruit, they hid?
Exactly. Like that's exactly what that means. And then the word come is actually the word, it's two persons under one tree, which is interesting, but whatever. The word naked is actually, see the Z radical to the left? That's that little Z with the 2 lines. And then that word, that box on top is the word garden. And then the bottom below it is the word tree. So God, this is the word naked in Japanese, ancient Chinese. So God, garden, tree is how you write the word naked. JT, what does that have? Where does that come from?
I mean, they realized they were naked, and then that's when they hid.
Well,
They were
yeah, but
they were ashamed of their
after
nakedness.
they ate from the tree in the
Hmm.
garden, they hid from God, and because they saw their nakedness. That's the word naked in Japanese, in ancient Chinese. Okay, the word forbidden is the word show. See this word show plus two trees on top of it. Why is there two trees with the word show on top of it?
Um, I mean, obviously there was two trees in the garden, so there was
Right?
the tree of life and the tree of knowledge.
Exactly. The tree of life and death and knowledge and good of evil. And so there was two trees. So forbidden, their word is show two trees. Where do you think that comes from? If that is not from the Bible, that is literally ancient Chinese. This is why I'm saying, like, I can talk to somebody that speaks Chinese and knows it, and I can just tell them the stories of the Bible and explain their own language. And they'll be like, oh my gosh, this makes perfect sense. Like, I've never understood why the word forbidden. They don't understand. They know what that symbol is. They know the word forbidden is two trees plus the word show, but they don't understand why. They don't know why. This is why they banned the Bible in China, guys. Because people that read the Bible in China, like, bro, they have like epiphany after epiphany, and it just like it like opens their mind in a whole nother level because they're like, wow, this is this is real. They realize how real it is.
Yeah, and both trees were forbidden after they got kicked out.
Yep, both trees. And then the word covet, this on the bottom is two trees plus the word woman on the bottom. That's the word covet. Isn't that fascinating?
Yeah, that is interesting because obviously do not covet your neighbor's wife too.
Yeah, yeah. It could be wife, and it could be don't cut the two trees, and it could also be Eve coveting that.
Hmm.
So the word sorrow is again, this is the symbol for again, plus two trees. Why is the word sorrow, pain, it's also the word for whip, is literally two trees plus the word again,
Well,
or a peace, or
that was
forbidden.
part of the curse, right? They were cursed with birth pain, and Adam was cursed with the soil being difficult to garden with
Yep,
afterwards.
absolutely.
If it wasn't for those two, working wouldn't be hard.
That's true. Now this is the word glory, and it's got now the top of glory has it looks like a cross in this text, but it's actually two fire symbols. And so it means fire, fire, covering over tree. That's the word glory. So the fire over tree. And so that's God is above even the tree.
Yeah, God is all-consuming fire.
Yes. Yep. And so commence is the word woman plus the word mouth or secret plus the word mouth. So woman, secret, and mouth. That's their word for commence. So it was commence or to start or to begin. And so it's funny because like literally that was when Eve said to Adam, it's okay. Or like she was spoken to the first time when she was spoken to by the snake. So mouth spoken to woman. That was when it commenced. That's when all this kicked off. So the word demon in ancient Chinese is the word garden plus the conjugated word for legs plus the word for secret. What do you think that comes from, JT?
Well, I mean, obviously garden, and so
Who lost their legs in the Garden of Eden?
oh, the snake did.
Yeah, for
That's
what?
right.
What did he do?
He told a lie to Eve.
Isn't that interesting?
Hmm.
So the word for demon or ogre, by the way, or oni, which is also another word for like Nephilim. Side
Yeah,
note, we'll get into that later.
isn't the Oni, isn't that a something Paul's talked about with the Nephilim or
Yes.
clowns?
Yep, it is. They are. Yeah. And we'll get into that in more detail. But this is the word garden plus the word legs plus the word secret, because who lost their legs? Satan lost his legs when he said the secret or the lie to the woman in the garden. That's their word. That's the word for demon, guys. Right there.
Interesting, yeah. Hmm.
It's so obvious when you see these things. You're like, wow, okay. So this is the word for woman, and it's very similar to the word evening which is eve, evening, or go or leave, because the woman got everybody kicked out of heaven or out of the garden. That was kind of the concept. And then even the word winter is also the word go. And then these 2 lines below mean hair. It's actually 3 lines represent hair. And we'll get into that in more detail. But it's hair, which in some conjugated texts, you'll see 3 lines and it represents like cold. But it actually represents, fur by the 3 lines, because it's like you wear hair when it is cold. You wear fur. And it's in a bunch of different words. You'll see 3 lines mixed in, and that pertains to Nephilim, by the way. So so you got evening, which is woman. It's Eve plus the feet conjugated text in there. Okay, so this is corpse, evil, deprived, wicked, which is also similar to the word for woman. Again, they don't like women in Japanese and ancient Chinese. Side note. Sorry, guys. They're very sexist. So the word bewitched is the word woman plus the word heaven. What do you think that means to be led astray by seducing? JT, why do you think the word bewitched is got the word woman plus the word heaven in it?
Well, because the devil deceived Eve, and the devil was his original first state was heaven.
Yeah, but how about it says that the children of heaven mated with the daughters of men, and they were bewitched.
Yeah, that's true. That also could be both, I guess, right?
Yeah. So that's the word bewitched, to be led astray by seducing. It's woman in heaven. And we know it's more related to the Nephilim, this word bewitched, because the word for ghost is yokai. And how you write ghost is the word woman plus the word heaven plus the word mystery of life, which is heart while soil. That's the word mystery, or mystery of life. So what is the ghosts in the book of Enoch described as? It says the women that slept, it says the children that slept, or the women that slept with the angels, bore the Nephilim. And it says that when the Nephilim's bodies die, their spirit will forever remain on the earth and be referred to as an evil spirit. Mm-hmm. So mystery of life, which is heart while soil, which is, I totally didn't even explain that one, but so mystery of life plus woman plus heaven. That is their word for ghost. That is straight from the book of Enoch. That is literally the understanding of what ghosts are. They are the deceased children of the union of the children of heaven with the women of earth, and then they died, and we don't know what happened. That's why they got mystery of life mixed in with the word woman in heaven. And that's their word for ghost.
It's interesting that they have a different word for demon and ghosts. Because I think, because I think that we maybe that's because one of them wasn't because one of them was ogre, was the name for demon. So it could be like, it doesn't necessarily mean a demon isn't a spirit. It could be a physical demon.
That is a very good point, JT. Very good point to bring up, because it is physical. Like, demons were physical in a lot of contexts.
So all ghosts are demons, but not all demons are ghosts.
Yes, exactly. That's true. Very true. Yep. Okay. That is exactly a way I would word it. Okay, so this is the word below, which is actually a word for cage. And then the word below this, this is the word for ma, or magic, or devil as well. And it's the word demon. Okay, so let me break it down for you. You've got this covering, which is that big L that's over everything. Okay, and then you got tree, so 2 trees, plus garden, plus legs, plus secret. And that's the word for devil, or magic, or manipulation, or ma. Okay, that's what does that tell you? Why does manipulation have the word 2 trees, plus garden, plus legs, plus secret, plus covering? Where do you think that comes from, JT?
So it would, magic is manipulating demons.
Yeah, and manipulation is literally what the devil did to about the 2 trees. He manipulated Eve into believing a lie in the garden, and he lost his legs, and they lost their home. They lost their covering because they ate from one of the trees that they weren't supposed to eat from. Okay? And Akuma, which is actually the name for the devil, Akuma, it's like the official name for Satan in Japanese and ancient Chinese or whatever. So, and it's actually heart below even the devil. So what's interesting here is that the devil is not the same thing as Akuma. Akuma is like an official title, and it's saying his heart is even below that guy. Isn't that interesting?
Well, I guess that's the thing. It's like, so the devil, I know we mentioned this on Ancient Angels. I said the devil is not his name. Satan is not his name. Those are titles. They're kind of descriptions of who he is. It's kind of the same way that God has descriptive titles, but that's not necessarily his name. So the devil means deceiver, which he certainly is. Satan means adversary, which he's also that. So yeah, like you can kind of have official, maybe when you capitalize the devil, but then there's devils.
Yep.
Like as in, and there's also Satans.
Yes. Yep. That's exactly, and it's very interesting because they got multiple words for these kind of things in their language that are just, it's very fascinating when you break it all down. Majutsu, which is magic or sorcery, has this word ma, okay, which is magic, plus a bunch of other words that I didn't bother explaining, so I won't get into that one. Wickedness is heart below, so that just means wickedness. Ooh, so if you take wickedness, heart below, and you mix it with the word magic or ma, akuma, and that's what you get, akuma, which is literally the devil's title of his name. So now we've got the word sword and the word power. They look very close, right? One just got an extra little handle. And then you've got death, which is actually the word power. And this little ribbon right here, that's the word while. So that means while. And then this one is evil. So you've got evil while powerful, or evil, powerful while death or something. And there's another way to write it. You write it this way. They've got multiple ways of writing certain words in conjugated forms because they've evolved over time. So the older text is more clear a lot of times, but the newer text will be even more simple. But like, for instance, this is how you'll see death in newer text, and it's a conjugated or a more simplified version of this. But if you look at the old word, it literally says evil while powerful. Evil while powerful. So that's literally, or a combination of evil while sword. And it's like, that's what we call death. And then there's also the word table, which means sturdy or legs it's just the word legs, but they're joined together. Okay? That's the word table. And it means strong. And then so table while is, and that's strong while something, means tool or weapon, or strong also. And then evil while strong is bad luck. So evil while strong is bad luck. So sturdy or capable. This is the word heart. Okay. And then when it gets conjugated, it sometimes gets squished, and it looks like this on the word wicked. They squish it. And sometimes they squish it to the left, and it looks like 3 dashes. Okay. But this is the word heart, and it's got multiple forms, or it looks like a broken cross like this. When they squish this symbol to the left, it becomes a cross with broken arms. So this is, again, while. And so this is the word for mystery, but it's more so mystery of life. And it's heart while soil. Who is heart while soil? JT?
Okay, mystery, heart while soil.
Is this soil? Yeah.
So, I mean, man was made out of the soil.
Right?
Right, so
Adam.
Yeah.
Adam was heart while soil. It's the word mystery. For them, it's mystery, but it's also mystery of life. But it's like, why is it called mystery? Because how is Adam heart alive while he's also soil? That's their word for mystery. Heart while soil.
Interesting.
That's like, how is that not directly from the biblical context of this understanding? Like, that's literally what it comes from. And then we've got the word soil, which looks very similar to the word gentleman. Okay? But Gentile men is this, but the cross on top is longer than the cross on bottom. And it's very similar. And then the word craft, you move the line of the cross all the way to the top because it's like creating. Okay, this is Judas tree, which is interesting because it's tree plus soil plus gentleman, or soil tree. I don't even know. I haven't broken that one and figured it quite out yet.
Judas hung himself on a tree.
Yeah, exactly. He did. And so that's why it's called the Judas tree. But it's also the same word for knight, which is gentleman or Gentile men, plus the word soil plus the word tree, which is Canaanite. And so there's a bunch of connections into this stuff that I haven't fully broken down all the way.
What exactly is a knight? I mean, so like obviously I'm aware of what would come to mind when you say a knight. Someone was knighted. You know, you think about guys riding horses, wearing armor, and things like that. But like, what's up with the Canaanite? I know you say the Canaanite, but at the same time, it's like, what's up with the connection with nighttime?
You know, well, it's Canaanite time, right? So it was night time because at night, at dark, the creatures, the Nephilim, the beasts would roam. So they roamed at night. So it was considered nighttime in that regard.
It's
a different
had
night.
A positive connotation to be a knight because obviously people get knighted, and it's like a isn't it like some? It's a
no. It's not always been positive. We've created it into that.
Well, in today's culture, it would be like that. If you were knighted, it's like you were added into the noble class, right? Well, but obviously that could be that. Is that you think there's a connection that they're allowed to be with the other elite bloodline class?
Yeah, I think the word knight is like to be accepted into the elites in a sense. Like it's you are a lesser than, you are a Canaanite, but you have been accepted into the you're a guardian of the elites. So you've been accepted into their thing. That's why you get knighted in.
Yeah, that's interesting.
So it's like, and that's why they have the word gentleman. Because this word gentleman is not the same word as giantile, right? It's not the same word as Nephilim or hybrid. It's gentleman, so it's a lesser form of gentleman. It's like a distinguished, accepted Gentile man. So that's why the word knight has the word gentleman in it. And the word sumo also it's the word sword or powerful, right? Is it? I forget. Yeah, it's the word power plus the word gentleman, and that's the word sumo. So gentleman, Gentile man, big man, okay, plus the word sword. So that's sumo wrestler. So it's telling you what it is. Now, this one's kind of funny. So this is the word ordinary, and it's got a little dash between two legs. Which is the word circumcision, bro. It means uncircumcised. Okay? It's literally legs with a little dash between it. And that's their word for ordinary.
That's interesting.
Yes. And then if you go into circumcised even in more detail, this is the left leg, this is the right leg, and that's the Z radical. That's God. So God between two legs is literally their word in circumcision. And this is the word also for discount. So on the left, so it's discount. Like literally the word discount plus the word leg plus God and then the other leg.
10% off.
that's like it's so comical because that's literally like, why would their word be like, why would it be that? Look, it's hilarious because again, this is legs, right? And so that Z radical right there, that's God in between the two leg symbols. So here's the left leg, here's the right leg, and there's God in between. And that's their word for circumcised. Okay? And it's Gili, which again, it comes down to Gentile connections. Okay? So discount, and then that's present, which is leg before God. And it's one leg in front of God. And that's the word present. So they would think it's present, but you see the left leg here and the right leg here. That's literally what this is. And so Brahma, this is an interesting one, because this is the creator, is literally the word leg, it's this word right here, ordinary, which is circumcised with leg, right? The little wiener, and then 2 trees plus heaven plus king. So Brahma is 2 trees, heaven plus king. But Brahma is just a generic term for saying the creator of heaven. It's a common term for saying God in a sense, but it's not the same. But this is why Brahma is a Brahma. Okay, if you know Hindu religion, Brahma married Saraswati, but Brahma was actually Abraham who married Sarai. Okay, or Sarah. So Brahma married Sarah. Okay, and in the Bible, or in Hindu religion, it was Abraham married Sarah, and in Hindu it was Brahma married Saraswati. So again, that was a distortion that happened later because they got the idea that Abraham was mixed with the multiple heads. So if you actually look up a depiction of Brahma, he's got 3 heads, but the 3 heads actually represent Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And
okay.
that's why.
No, go ahead. Finish what you're saying.
That's why he has the multiple heads, and it's also a depiction of the angels that had the 4 heads in the description of the Bible. They basically took Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob and deified him into a god and called him Brahma because he was the god of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. So what were you saying?
I was going to say that it's interesting about that. Made me wonder about like the Brahmin bulls, and like that's also a Hindu thing, and so we know that they consider cows holy there.
Yep,
it's where you get holy cow.
Holy cow.
So you get holy cow. You even get holy ass from. They consider that holy there too, believe it or not.
Yeah.
Somebody even said holy moly. Is that holy Moloch?
Oh my gosh! I've never considered holy moly.
Yeah,
being
somebody
holy
said
Moloch.
that in the comments when I posted my little short.
Makes sense? My gosh!
Makes sense. What else? What else would holy moly mean?
Bro, I can't say that anymore. I say holy moly sometimes.
Yeah, so that would be like obviously it's all the same correlation. You have holy cow, holy Moloch, holy.
Oh my gosh,
they're all related to the same thing.
Wow.
But obviously, bulls are considered gods, holy there, and so if Brahma is their creator, that's why deities are often depicted with horns, because because bulls have horns.
That's true. Yeah.
There's like a famous statue of Moses, and he's got horns.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I know that. I know that he has that, but I think that's also related to like Nephilim connection stuff.
Right. Well, I just think I just think that like even you're talking about like the angels with the 4 heads. One of them was a bull.
Yeah. Yep.
They talks about in Psalm 22 the bulls of Bashan. Their bulls are often references to deities. That's what I was even saying on that one podcast we were talking about. I think it makes sense to me that when the Israelites made the golden calf, and then they said, "This is the God that took us out of Egypt." Some people believe that they were making some kind of Canaanite thing, but they hadn't been there yet. I think why they did that is I think it makes more sense to me that they were literally making a bull to represent our God. Obviously, he doesn't want to be worshipped like that, but I mean, it makes more sense that like they were like, how could Aaron be involved in that?
Yeah.
But but that was before they got the 10 Commandments about making graven images. And then when Moses came down, he smashed the tablets, and they had to make them again.
Yep, absolutely. I think the Bible is very clear in Deuteronomy when it says, do not make an image to represent your God. It says it says they don't want. He says not an image, but like a man or a fish or a bird in the air or a creature that crawls on the ground. It says make no image like a man or female. It says be careful that you do not act corruptly and make an image to represent Yahweh, basically.
Yep.
Okay? It literally says do not make an image to represent your God. Because it says be careful because you saw no form when God spoke to you out of the mountain, out of Horeb.
Yep.
It says that. He has no form, is what it says. So do not make a form to represent him. That's literally what it says in Deuteronomy. If you don't understand the second commandment, it's a little bit more detailed in Deuteronomy. You can read it. But yeah, that's so true, man. That's a good point. I never considered the holy moly, holy cow, and holy ass thing.
Yep.
I can't say holy moly anymore. I accidentally say it.
It's all connected.
I know for sure. Okay, guys. So this is where another more interesting thing, and this is where all this language starts, guys. It actually started when Noah got off the boat. So the Chinese language goes back. It's the oldest kept consistent writing form. So if it's the oldest kept consistent writing form, of course it's going to have connection to the Bible if the Bible's valid, right? Well, guess what it does? So this is their word for boat or big boat. It happens to be the word vessel plus the word 8 plus the word mouths. See a little square mouth below it? Why, JT, is their word for big boat 8 mouths on a vessel? Do you know?
Well, there was 8 on the ark.
There was 8
That's
people
pretty
that got off the big boat on the ark. In fact, where the boat supposedly landed, they actually named it the Valley of 8. In what is that? By the Ararat mountain.
Yeah, Mount Ararat is where in the northern part of Turkey is where they believe they found remnants of Noah's Ark.
Yep, it's called the Valley of 8 because it's referring to the 8 people that got off the big boat. And you know, it's funny, in Asian culture, there's actually a flood myth, okay? And the flood myth is there's a flood myth. Everybody knows the story of Noah, right? So we've got Noah, but in Asian culture, they have a flood myth as well. It's Nuhua. Nuhua. Did you catch that?
That's pretty close. Pretty close.
The flood myth is the story of Nuhua. Noah? You mean Noah? Oh yeah, it's the same name, but the story's all mixed around and it's twisted. Like Nuhua is like this snake woman thing, and there's like all this mixture of hybridization and stuff and weird things going on. But it's Nuhua's flood. It's Noah's flood, guys. It's Noah's flood. Like it's literally the same story. It's there's all these similarities when you break it in. The next episode we'll be talking about some of this stuff. Maybe I should have done the next episode before I did the language one, but whatever.
It's water under the bridge now.
Yeah, I know. It's all right. We're already too deep. We're already too deep.
It's time to regret it now.
Yeah. Okay, so this one line means alone or one or above, and then this one is 8. And then I don't know why I put this in here. I forget. Anyways, all right, skipping on. Common altogether. Flood. So this thing on the left here is conjugated hands for it. This symbol is like conjugated for heart. It can also be the conjugation for water. So water altogether is their word for flood. Okay, water altogether or heart altogether is flood. In this case, it's obvious it's water. And then their word for big flood is the word giant plus the non-conjugated version for flood. Okay, so this is like bigger flood. Okay, so they have 2 different ways of writing it. I don't know why, but whatever. Anyways, their other word for official big flood is the word when you put all 3 of these together. Okay, so this one is common altogether. This is water, and so this is heart in this instance, and this is giant. So Nephilim giants, common altogether, big flood, and water is big flood. That's their word for flood. Why does the word for flood include the word giant if the giants were not wiped out in the flood for a reason? Do you understand? Like that's
Yeah, it could also just mean a lot of water though.
That's the other thing. So today's world, they try to say it means big as in a lot of water. But the difference is in when you see the word big flood, they put the word giant, and then they put the word heart, and then they put the word together, and then they put the word water. And it's like there's a nuance to the way they wrote this that kind of implies that maybe it meant something else. And so here's another one. So the word loud is actually the word heart together plus the word giant, which we know that the giants in history were known for being very loud. The Nephilim were known for being very loud.
Yeah,
and the word
very distinct sounds they made.
Yes. So that's their word for loud. Heart together, giant. Their word for self plus the word giant below is their word for stink, which the Nephilim were also known for smelling terrible. They were known to stink. So,
like Bigfoot. He's
yes,
skunk ape.
Yep. So self plus giant equals stink. Now you could say big self is stinky, I guess. You could say somebody that smells really big. Sure, you can make this argument. Okay, now we're going to get into some future prophecy in the language that talks about Jesus. Now this is where it gets more interesting, I guess, for those that, you know, because that was all Nephilim stuff, but from here on we're going to talk about Jesus in their language. Now, this is the word soil, okay? So this is the word soil, and this is the word king. You put a line on top of soil, so above soil. That's a Christian cross sitting on land, but, you know, whatever. We call that soil. And this is the word king, and this is the word Lord. You add a little dash to king, and then you add 2 dashes and draw the line down, and that's the word lamb. It's king with 2 little ears and a little nose. Why is this this is in ancient Chinese, why is their word for lamb the same word for Lord and King, if not Jesus being called the Lord, the King, and the Lamb of God?
I don't think that there's another explanation for it.
That's pretty strange, right?
Yeah. I mean, it would be really strange if it wasn't for what you're saying.
Exactly.
It would make no sense. Because I don't know that any other religions, again, they say bulls are considered sacred and no, you know, have a correlation with gods of their religion. But I don't know any religion outside of Christianity that refers to their god as a lamb.
I don't know either, but that's pretty unusual. And yes, I did watch the DMT laser experiment. I've seen that from a long time ago. There's some people that were doing it and they were seeing code. We'll talk about that. I'll talk about that in another channel. Maybe we'll talk about it on here. I don't know. But yes, that's definitely the lamb. That's the Lamb of God. And then here's another interesting one. The word water and eternal is like the same word. They just added a little dash and a thing above it. And it combines with another word. So the word beautiful is the word giant plus the word lamb, which is, again, I mean, interesting because giant or Nephilim plus lamb is literally their word for beautiful, which is kind of like Jesus is the big lamb. And in a sense, Jesus was a mixture of human and God, which he was technically in that category, could be some form of a Nephilim in some regard. But he was God's only begotten son. So he was the only one that was allowed to be that way. But that's their word for beautiful. And their word for fruit, this is funny, is the word water plus garden plus tree. Okay? And fruit juice is garden plus tree plus heart plus the Christian cross plus cross. So, or water, that could be, again, heart or water. So water conjugated plus a cross, which is fruit juice. What did Jesus turn water into, right?
Turned it into wine.
That's the word for fruit juice. The Christian cross. Mixed with...
Is the tree... So which one of those is the tree out of those?
The bottom thing under the box. So the box is garden, and then the tree is under there.
Tree. Okay.
Yep.
And what's the crosses?
The cross doesn't... it's not a particular meaning. It's because it means Jesus. And you'll see it over and over meaning Jesus. Just like you see it in like the word like king and soil and stuff. Like you'll see it over and over, or the word Lord. It's got a cross in there plus 2 ears. Like, so it means Jesus. And so like, here's an interesting one. So here's the word strike, okay? And if you take the word strike and you put the Christian cross plus the word water below it, that's the word salvation. Bro, cross plus eternal water, because it's the same kanji, plus the Christian cross, plus the word strike. That's their word for salvation. Why?
Because there's only one way.
Yeah, because Jesus died on the cross. And water, and you could even say the water flowed from his side when he was struck. And that's when salvation came. because he was dead. He died. That was the moment of salvation coming to everybody. Bro, that's their word. Like, how is that not like... Anyways, it's amazing to me. Okay, so here's the word part. And if you add part plus the cross, it's the word sufficient. So, like, part of Jesus is sufficient. That's good enough.
Right, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And this
His grace is sufficient.
Yep. And then this is their word for Lord. This is the official title for Lord. Okay, so there's another version for Lord, which is just this. But the official title for Lord is this one, which is written tree plus eternal water plus lamb. Jesus is called, like, how do you not see it? Like, literally, tree. Jesus is the tree of life. He is the water of life. He is eternal, and he's the Lamb of God. That's their official title for Lord. Lamb, tree, plus water, eternal. Is that not fascinating?
Yeah, no. It all fits.
Anyways, here's their word for righteousness. It's actually the word lamb plus the word hand plus the word sword, which hand and sword together, it means eye, but hand and sword plus mystery of life means injury. So hand and sword means eye, like yourself in some regard. But when you add mystery of life, it means injury. So if you add hand and sword plus Lamb of God, it means God died, and that's righteousness. His hand was pierced by sword, meaning hurt or injury. That's their word for righteousness.
Mm-hmm.
Lamb plus sword plus hand. That's Jesus. Like, again, it's Jesus. Like, it's just insane when you start studying this stuff and realize, like, bro, I read through ancient Chinese texts and I go through these books and I just look at the symbols and I figure out what their meanings are and I write it all down and I like have a whole legend of stuff that I go through. And so another word for deity is Z, garden, which this represents God, and then this word represents Jesus. So we've got God and Jesus together is their word deity. Or their word righteous. Or, no, wait, this is also the word for Lord. Yeah, their other word for Lord. So Lord God is their word for deity. So eternal, water, plus lamb, plus tree. That's their word for Lord. Okay. So there's another interesting part. This is... I don't know if we should get into this yet because this is more Nephilim stuff. I don't know, guys. I don't know is everybody like tuckered out already?
Well, I think you were saying you only had about an hour, so if you want to start wrapping it up, because yeah, you might want to save some of that.
I might, we might. The stuff that we've got here now is the rest of the stuff that I can go into is a little bit more, I don't know how to describe it. It's a little bit fringe and Nephilim-ish. And I know that you guys are like, I don't know my audience. I know you guys are all Nephilim diehards now. I've learned. So, I mean, I guess I could, but I do have to go soon. Let me double check something real quick. Let's see here.
See, Brian is only doing an hour-ish live streams. He's got to do the 2-hour at least coming up.
Is that what the secret is, to do the 2 hours?
That's what do you guys think? What's the ideal length of a live stream? I would say, based on what I was told on my channel, it's 2 hours. But an hour's pretty good.
An hour's pretty good?
Well, these are more episodic. It's kind of, so that's... An hour, I think, is pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm like breaking down certain topics, trying to...
1 hour, 3 hours.
1 hour, it's all the same. Somebody said 3 hours. Is that what we should do? I don't know if everybody can handle 3 hours. I don't know. Maybe?
Yeah, everyone's saying 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, 1.5 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours, 2 hours. 1.5, 2 hours, 2 hours.
Wow, okay. So 2 hours. So I'm
yeah, Stealing Fan Man goes
episodes.
3 hours. See,
Stealing Fan Man, you're legit.
That is legit to do 3 hours by yourself.
Well,
I've
maybe
had some marathons on TikTok before where I've done 3 hours. But I know when I've done I've done a few 2 hours by myself. That's pretty. I'm pretty tuckered out after that.
Yeah, 3 hours would be intense. Maybe I'll just do a little bit more. We'll just go a little bit longer because I do have to go. But we'll do a little bit more.
6 hours.
6 hours. We'll just do a little bit more. I'll explain a few more things. This is a little bit. It gets into like some understanding of demons and understanding of animal hybrids. Like for instance, I'll say something right now. Their word for pig is do not plus moon plus person. Okay, so you guys want to talk about like pigs being genetic hybrids of humans? We could talk about that. And their word for boar is actually different than their word for pig. It's actually the word giant or Nephilim plus soil crossed through plus sun, is it? I forget. Or moon. No, it's sun. Yeah, sun. And their word for animal is the word hare plus a few different things. The word for cow, monster, or do not is the word for hare, which is really interesting. And their word for monkey is very fascinating. It's the word for humanity plus the word for dog.
Ooh.
And everybody, ask any Chinese person that knows this, like, why is their word for monkey, their saru, why is it dog plus humanity? And they'll always know, they know that word, and they'll be like, yeah, it's really weird. I always wondered why it's dog plus humanity. Like, I think that is incredibly Nephilimized and very fascinating when you get into that.
That's really weird.
It's very telling when it comes to, because for those who don't know, if you haven't watched other episodes of me talking about, I told you already that monkeys are de-evolved Nephilim, okay? And they're Canaanites that have de-evolved. That's why their ancient word for monkey is dog humanity, okay? So, anyways, more interesting stuff.
Edmund said Paul taught till they fell out the window.
Till they fill out the window?
Yeah, but that's a little bit too long though, see? Because you remember that story in the book of Acts when they were preaching and teaching, and there was a young man sitting in the windowsill.
Oh yeah.
And he fell out and died.
Yeah. That's a little too long, baby.
He had to be resurrected. He had to be basically resurrected after that.
Yeah. Absolutely. Okay. So let me see some other words. Oh, this is an interesting one. The word for silence is the word for giant, okay, or dog. Actually, it's the word dog plus garden plus soil, and the bottom words I think it's the word for burnt. The little bottom dashes. There's multiple perspectives of what it could be, but it's garden, soil, dog, burnt, and that's the word for silence. And their word for revelation is show, dog, which again is Gentiles, right? So dog, garden, soil, burnt, and show. That's the word for revelation.
Brian, somebody in the chat is asking for a copy of this. Are you going to make this available to people?
Oh, yes. I'm actually writing a book, by the way, guys. I'm writing a book that's going to be explaining this all, and I'm going to let you guys download it online. It'll just be on my website. So I've got a manual coming out that you guys can take it and you guys will be able to like go research more, because I want to give you guys the basis of it so that way everybody is understanding this and doing this, because if we all start understanding this truth, you're getting revelation right here, bro. Revelation. That's what I want to happen. And then this is also another interesting one, because again, I've told you guys the word beast actually doesn't mean animal, it means Nephilim. Well, guess what? In the word beast in ancient Chinese, ancient Japanese, it's the word. So this is really interesting, actually, because if you know the stories of the Nephilim, you know that there's a connection to them not being able to speak, and they lack the ability to speak because they don't have the ability to prophesy into this world of existence. And that was actually the definitive characteristic between a Nephilim and a human, was it's lacking the ability to speak. And there's a bunch of stuff connected to that. That's why you see like the big giants are like dumb looking, like ooh, buh, buh, buh. It's because they didn't talk, they spoke with their mind. But anyways, totally different understanding of that. But regardless, the word for beast is actually the word dog, okay, or giant, again, hybrid dog giant because it's Gentile or Nephilim, plus 2 mouths, plus the word garden, plus the word line, plus the word one mouth. So it's saying 2 mouths before the garden, after the garden, 1 mouth, dog. That's their word for beast. And it changed into this symbol, which is 2 dashes and a dash, because it meant 2 mouths before, after 1 mouth. So they both could talk. After the garden, only 1 person could talk. And that's their word for beast. So it's very interesting because we think about the snake that was talking in the garden, right? Mm-hmm. But the snake was a beast of sorts, in a sense. So talking in the garden. Oh, thank you so much, Denise. You're awesome. I appreciate it a lot. So so talking in the garden, they lost their ability to talk after the garden, is what it's alluding to. Okay? So it's telling you after the garden, no more talking. So there's something with communication in beasts and animals before and after the garden. Again, this is the word for God. It's the Z radical plus the garden plus a line through it, and it's jin or shin. Now it's also interesting because it's also pronounced jin, like Gentile, because the gods were different than God, and they didn't quite know the difference. But it's also interesting because in Hebrew they pronounce God Hashem, which means the name, and God in Japanese is Shin. So Hashem and Shin. It's very interesting how close those are related.
Yeah, that is interesting. Actually, somebody reposted one of my old videos about the Eternals, and then the creator in the Eternals was named Ereshim. And it was like,
oh yeah,
and it was basically like
Hashem.
It was like I think the 2 words together was like lion and also
the name.
The name.
Yeah. Yep. That's very interesting.
No coincidences there.
And here's another interesting one. So this is for those that know what Godzilla is. He's a kaiju. Kaiju. Okay? So this is the word mystery of life plus the word beast, which is iju. So kaiju. And so mystery of life plus beast equals mysterious beast, or Nephilim. It's another word for riding the Nephilim. This is a giant Nephilim. Okay? Because again, it's the word giant, dog, plus garden, plus before the garden they had 2 mouths, and after the garden they had 1 mouth, plus heart, mystery of life. So they don't know how these things exist, basically, but they're giant, and we don't know how they exist. They're giant monster things. And Iju is a foreign beast, and it's got the word together with garden. Together, garden plus the word beast, basically. So garden together, it's like they don't know what this creature is. And so there's a lot of, you can look up like a lot of different creatures, a lot of different interesting ones that mean something. Like, I have my Tengu video if you guys haven't seen it, but Tengu, I'll tell you guys right now, this is a very fascinating one. So in the story, it's this little emoji right here. You see the guy with the big long nose? And I'll be talking about this probably in the other video more so. But Tengu brought to the Japanese people the Torah no Maki, which is the scroll of the Torah. No, Maki means scroll. Okay? Torah no Maki. Right here. He brought the Torah no Maki, the of scroll. The Torah, the scroll of the Torah. And this is literally, his word is heaven, dog, and scroll. That's how you write Tengu. Heaven, dog, scroll. And it's not Tengu, it's Tenju. Because it's Jew, the Jew that brought the scroll of the Torah to the dog people, which is the Gentiles. Okay? That's literally Tengu. And he also taught people to be the samurai, the way of the samurai. Yeah, that little emoji. Yes, you guys got it. And he taught people the way of the samurai, which in Japanese, samurai doesn't mean anything. But in Hebrew, samurai means warrior of God. Isn't that fascinating?
I think it's fascinating that the Tengu emoji is available to us.
Yeah, I think it's very like...
Yeah, like why? Like, I mean, is there emoji for every single thing? No, there's not. So why of all things would they include that one?
And it was one of the original ones they included.
That's really weird. That's really weird.
Yep. And it has a big nose. Who's known for the big nose again? Oh wait, we can't say that. We can't say that. It's not Tengu though, guys. It's Tenju. You can put it together if you can't figure that one out. But the words and languages shift throughout time, and they adjust, guys. I'm teaching you guys this stuff to understand how spelling works and witchcraft, because they manipulate the language. And when you understand that these little nuances and changes, like Tengu from Tenju, ten means heaven, okay? And gu is this word, dog scroll, okay? But it's not gu, it's Jew. And so, but like these evolutions happen over time. This is an interesting one. The word plan is cross plus heart plus mouth. So it's like the plan, or it's also paper plus mouth plus cross. The word needle is gold plus cross, which that's their word for needle or nail. And then
it seems like there's some kind of correlation between heart and heavenly beings too.
There's a little bit of a connection, I think, in some regard. Well, it has to do with intention. Whenever you see heart,
it's like life or something.
Yeah, life or intention is what a lot of these things mean. And it's funny because here I'll just show you guys this one. This one's a really interesting one. So the word ten means heaven, and how you say ten in Japanese is Jew, and it's the Christian cross. Like, that's weird. Just to like put the nail in the coffin there. Like there's so much more to this, guys. I think we'll stop for today. But again, I'm going to put this online so you guys will be able to download it and then continue this research further, because when you guys like get this understanding down and you start looking through Japanese words and stuff like this, like you're going to get so much revelation. You're going to be like, oh my gosh, how did we not know this? How was this like, not shared with us? I'm going to stop sharing my screen. Okay, there we go. And it's very, I don't know, it's very eye-opening, I think, when you get this revelation. For me, it was like when I started researching this stuff, I was just like, what? And it all connects to Nephilim. It all connects to human-animal hybrids and all kinds of genetic, anomalous things. Because I have these suspicions. Obviously, you guys have been watching the channel. I have suspicions of like monkeys and all this other stuff, right? But when you break it down into the oldest written, consistent language, a lot of those theories, we can call them, tend to be verified in this ancient Chinese and ancient Japanese stuff. Like you start to realize a lot of this is very much connected in ways that you just wouldn't even imagine otherwise. Anyways.
You know what I think the conspiracy could be here is that many evangelical Christians today would say, well, Jesus can't come back because the gospel's not been preached all around to all the nations. Yep. And this is sort of evidence that it had been. Just like it says in in Colossians 1:23 that every creature under heaven had heard the gospel. So this seems like more evidence that it has. I mean, not that we need more evidence because we already have the Bible saying it, but this is more like proof.
Dude, and that's what we'll talk about on the next episode. Like the fact that this is absolutely evidence that the message of Christ went everywhere, guys. When Jesus died, the whole world knew about Jesus. That's why you see Jesus in all of their ancient texts. Like, I mean, bro, why else would it be there? Like I mean, sure, some of it may be prophecies, like the fact that they put the word lamb in some of their words pre-Jesus potentially. Like, sure, maybe that was a prophecy that he would become the Lamb of God, right? So some of these words maybe are prophetic, but some of them are very clearly, they had actually been changed afterwards in some texts. There's like an evolution of some of the words. Like the word 10 was changed to the Christian cross, I think, afterwards, because they have two different writing systems. And like, so why was the writing system changed? It was changed to accommodate the perspective of Christ, because the 10 commandments, right? And there was like this understanding that Tengu brought to the Japanese people, and these Christian message was brought all over the world. It's like so evident that this message was fire. Like, it was just literally like spreading.
Yeah, you know what you have to do maybe on the next episode if you can, is there's that one, I think, was it a Chinese emperor that wrote about like the eclipse and how basically like sins were forgiven.
Yep, I definitely know what you're talking about, and we'll talk about that on the next episode, and it will be very interesting. It'll be very interesting because, again, there's some alluding to that story not being exactly interpreted right, but we'll talk about it for sure. And it'll be very, very, it's very fascinating when you understand it all, because, like, dude, I get, my mind's like this is amazing. Like, this is so evident of Jesus's love reaching to the ends of the earth.
Amen,
so,
brother.
Anyways, all right, guys. Thanks for joining. Next week we'll try to go 2 hours, maybe. I don't know.
And maybe we'll even let you know when we're gonna do this.
Yeah, we'll give an announcement.
Don't count on it though.
Yeah, I tend to do the spring up thing. If I get if I get some sponsors, I'm just saying. Hey, you guys are sponsoring me in the chat, though. I love it. Thank you so much. You guys are my sponsors.
Yeah, very generous super chats. You guys are awesome. Appreciate it. God bless.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day, and talk to you later. Okay, bye.
Later.